Hey Mladen, how are you?
Hey, hello. I'm good. Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for joining us today. If you are ready, let me introduce you to the audience in Turkish first, and after that, uh, we can
And
start. Okay?
just a second, I need to switch my headphones.
Okay.
Okay, okay, I'm ready.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Let me introduce you to the audience in Turkish first, and after that, you can start your session. Okay?
Yeah.
Ee, Bu session'da Blazor tarafıyla devam edeceğiz. Blazor tarafındaki yeni özelliklere değiniyor olacağız. Bu session'da konuğumuz yurt dışından Mladen. Mladen aynı zamanda Blazor isimli bir Blazor Component Library'sini üretiyor ve commercial olarak user'lara sunuyor. Kendisi zaten biraz detaylarından bahseder. Aynı zamanda Blazor tarafında da contribution'ları olan bir developer kendisi. O yüzden bu session İngilizce olarak yapılacak. Eğer bir sorunuz olursa vesaire biz gerekli translation konusunda da yardımcı oluruz. Şimdi ben sözü Mladen'e bırakıyorum. O kendisi session'ına başlayabilir. Mladen, the stage is yours.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I didn't understand much of the Turkish, so yeah, probably Ilkay already introduced me. I'm Mladen Macanović, creator of Blazor is component library. And today I will speak about JS modules and how they can be used for building Blazor applications, what are the benefits and some bad parts of that way. So first, let me share the screen. Okay. So today's agenda is first introduce what is the JS modules, then how it works, what are the differences from regular JavaScript, and how I will show a brief demo of the Blazor application and how I structure it usually. Okay. So what is a JS module? JS module is basically a single JavaScript file. That's like simplest explanation that I can give. And the good thing about JS module it is that instead of having one large JavaScript file that is loaded when the page is shown to the user when it's loaded, uh, it can be loaded dynamically when it's used. So that is done by the browser natively. We just need to make use of few keywords. That is export keyword that is used to export like models, functions, or whatever what we need from the actual JavaScript module, and then we can use import keyword in some other like module. We can have multiple modules inside of the application, and that way we can like split different parts of the application into different files. This is like similar to what we use in C#, like DLL library, static library or whatever. And yeah, it's a good stuff. I learned about it pretty recently. I think like 2 or 3 months ago, and like I was like I didn't know about it earlier. I don't know how it skipped my radar. So yeah, let's go further. And okay, so simple example. On the left side, we can see that like say hi.js file. It's like simple JavaScript file with one function that is exported. As you can see, export keyword. This will tell browser or anything else, like some JavaScript engine, that this is a module that it needs to be this function needs to be exported, and that it can be used from outside of this file. And then we can have another JavaScript file that will consume that module by importing it, and we can import that same function from, say, hi.js file. And that's like simplest example of how it can be used. We will do this example in the Blazor application, and I will show you how to properly configure a Blazor application, how to inject the proper services, and how to call the actual function from C# from Blazor. Okay. So how it differs from regular JS file? As I already said, instead of having one large file that we load when the page is loaded, we can have multiple smaller ones, and I can show that in the real example how we did it so far in Blazorize. So let's show first the old way of doing it before we change the thing. So as you can see, this is like Blazor's library. We have www root. This is a standard way of holding any content files inside of the Blazor or any Blazor's class library or something else or similar. And if we open Blazor.js, we will see one very large file that that has accumulated over 3 years of work. So it has like 1400 lines. It has like included multiple external libraries inside of it, and it seems it's almost crashed. It's slow to scroll, and it was really hard to maintain while working on Blazorize. So after I discovered JS modules, I tried to experiment with it. I tried to see if it can be used. Okay, it's unresponsive, so that's what I'm talking about. And we will switch to other if possible. Okay, come on. We will open another one. Just a second. Okay, here we go. So as you can see, instead of having one single file, we splitted everything into multiple files regarding the feature that you want to support. So for example, let's say we have like a tooltip component, and previously this was all done. Second. I will try to open once again the previous version. Hopefully it will not crash this time. Okay. As you can see, we hold everything under the window.blazorize object, and this window thing is the only way that we can consume or hold any object within JavaScript that can be consumed by the Blazor. And like this single object was holding entire JavaScript part of the Blazor as library. Everything that was called through JS interop was here, and we did we removed that and splitted everything into single files, and then we basically make it easier to maintain the actual library. And it's now when we just need to change anything, we just go to a single file, change the few lines, and that's it. We don't need to bother with loading entire file that was like 160.
Hey, Mladen, sorry for interrupting.
Yeah.
Can you increase the font size, please?
Yeah, sure. Sorry.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so that's that's how we came to this, from that one large file to many smaller files. As you can see here, we have every feature as a file, as like a module, and we also splitted external libraries that we use internally by the Blazor eyes. And if you go here, we can see that we're using some JS libraries as that are themselves exported as a JavaScript module. Okay. Okay, so this is one this statement. The same module is imported into multiple other modules just once, and this is really important and really good feature of JavaScript module. So when you open the page and when you open when you link like some JavaScript file, it needs to be loaded with the page once it's open. Like if I go, for example, into our demo application that I prepared recently before. Just a second. Okay. Think I'm here. Okay, we can see this app.js. So it's nothing. It's really simple. It just have some one function, and it shows the message to the user. That's it. Nothing much. But if you go to the network and hit refresh, we can see app.js is loaded with the page. So as soon as you hit the URL, open the page, that file will be loaded. And this is okay if it's smaller file, but it's difficult to like if it's multiple files that are large, it will obviously slow the application. And with this feature, execute only once. For example, if we go into clear the network, and now if we try to run the module from the Blazor, I will click this button, and we will see that module is loaded, and the message is shown to the user. But if we try to hit again, there is no other modules loaded. It will use the same file that was loaded previously. And this is native behavior of the browser, and it's very good because it doesn't slow application every time we try to access the module. And with this, we can take advantage of it. If maybe once the module is loaded, we need to initialize some stuff like connect to external service like API or something. We can take advantage of that it will be used only once. It will be executed only once, and that's something to be aware of. And okay, so we can proceed. Okay, so now it's time for showing the how we can actually use this this module. Okay, and we can go back to the actual application that I was prepared. And okay, so I can split it into two demo codes. And so we have simple buttons. This is a Blazorized button. It's nothing to worry about here at this stage. It's just have a color and a click event. That's it, and a simple label. Okay, if we go to code behind, we can see that we inject JS runtime. This is similar.
Mladen, can you zoom in, please?
Yeah, sorry. I forgot about that. Sorry.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. Okay, so similar to every other Blazor application, to access the actual JavaScript, we always need JS runtime, and this is same for every possible situation. But the thing is how we construct it afterwards. For example, in this app, the old way how to consume the JavaScript, we will hold the function inside of the object and store it in the window object itself. And this is good if it's small file, if it's like less than 1400 lines that we had previously, and it works. It's really simple. You just need to inject this interface and call it with the path to that function. So as you can see, it works. It's pretty simple. With the module, it's a little complicated because we need to first hold the object reference to the actual module, and we're doing that by invoking import with import keyword on the JS runtime. And here I optimize it a little to not do it every time. We could do it like do this maybe, and it will probably work, but it will access the it was like import module every time, and we don't want that. It will be cached, but I just want to optimize as many as possible. Sorry. Okay, so what I did, I hold the reference to the object reference interface. I import it and save the reference to that object, and then just await every time I need to invoke say hi on the module file, and that's it. We'll see soon how we can optimize that. Okay, so click say the same message, and that's it. Okay, so this is okay. This approach is okay if we have like few of pages in the application, but as soon as we try to reuse, we always want to reuse code, and we want to abstract some calls to JavaScript. We don't want to mess with this boilerplate code to always create new variables, new like importing manually everything. So we can do it like this. So we can just create a module class. In this case, I enabled a demo module. We inject JS runtime. It's not the same as we had here. This attribute is specific only to components, to the Blazor components, and this is how we inject any object from dependency injection into the component. But for the simple class, we need to do it in the constructor. So we inject JS runtime. We have the same code as previously, and we just export. We just create a public say hi method on this class, and here we call the module the same as we had in the page in the component, and it's nothing. So that's it. And as you can see, the demo.js is always loaded once. It will not, how many times we click on any imported module, it will be always used this one. That's it. Okay. Now, is there any questions from the guests?
Looks like we don't have any questions right now.
I don't know. I think I'm pretty fast with the
Oh, I think it's okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we can try to load some library and to show how it can be used to do it. Maybe let me just search something. I know it's not the best way to do it while presenting, but yeah. Or we can just fake it. So let's try to import some external library. So the usual standard is to hold everything under vendors folder if if we're trying to use external JavaScript libraries or modules or whatever. And here I will just fake maybe math.js. Okay. And here we'll just do this export function. And okay, so the simplest example is this. We create math module. We have a sum function that will just summarize two variables that we sent it, and that's it. And if you want to consume that from other module, we just import. We're using the standard way of importing any JavaScript module. Okay. So there are some things that needs to be no. .js must always be specified. If you see, IntelliSense will give us math without the extension, but the problem is some browser will not like that, and if .js is not given, in some rare cases, like some browsers, it will not load the actual module and it will crash the application. So it is always good to have extension specified. The next thing is this. So you must be aware that every module is relative to its path. If we import, we must load it relative to the file that we're using it from. In this case, it's demo.js, and based on its location, we will load the math.js. And in this case, starting from the current directory or folder, go into vendors and load the math.js file. And this is the, if we hit F12, the reference will be recognized by the Visual Studio, and we have the feature of hitting F12 to go to the file and to the actual function. And so what we do, so we can try we export the function from the module, and we can just consume it inside of the demo. I will copy this part, this function. A lot of typos, sorry about that. And okay, so as you can see here, I'm always awaiting the reference to the JS module, and this is like recommended way, because the first time it's accessed, it will create the reference and save it to the local member, and then we can just reuse that. And await is here because every call to JavaScript must be asynchronous and it must be awaited. If we do it any other way, it will probably work inside of WebAssembly projects, but in Blazor server projects it will not work because it must be asynchronous. So okay, here we will remove this and then go to this page. Say change the color. We just introduce new function. Okay. Build and then go. It will refresh automatically, and that's it. We can see that we have the result. We will show this again once more. Clear, calculate. Okay, as you can see, it will load both modules. If we hit it again, it will not load, it will reuse the same thing from before. And that's it. And if we go here, also the same stuff. Yeah. Okay. Think I'm okay for now.
Okay, we have two questions from the chat. Why did we use the JavaScript code in Blazor?
Yeah, good question. So for the most part, we don't need to use it. But the problem is with regular Blazor, we don't have access to the DOM objects. we cannot do anything like advanced on the actual elements inside of the DOM. And in those cases, we need to access them through the JavaScript. And it's practically the easiest way of changing anything inside of the DOM elements or objects. And the other thing is JavaScript ecosystem is really good. It has really good libraries and a lot of great modules like for example, for a tooltip, for date input, for whatever you can think of, you can use. You can import those modules and then just with the simple API consume it inside of the Blazor application. And it's a good stuff to extend your library, your application, and use something that is already tested and it is working properly without writing everything from scratch. So yeah.
Okay, the other question is how did we call the demo module class in the Blazor file?
Yeah, good. I forgot to mention that. So as you can see, we have demo module just a class, and all we do is register inside of the dependency injection. We do it by like every other time, just call services, add using the life cycle. We can use it like singleton or scoped or transient. I will not go into details explaining much about this, but it's good approach to almost always use scoped. The scoped is because Blazor applications are once loaded, once created, they are scoped inside of their own like browser session, and every user have its own scoped application, and that's why we need if we will use singleton, then this reference this object will be shared between multiple users, and it can be it can lead to some nasty bugs. So it's always good to go with scoped. So, and how we consume it, we just go into here and inject that module. That's it. And then just call module say hi, module calculate. That's it. Simplest explanation.
Yeah, cool. I think we don't have any questions right now. Additional questions. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Thank you.